And that, sadly, is as far as this session got, at least in the water for me anyway. Surf footage will follow at the end of this video, but before, I wanted to sort of share how a bit of a disaster kind of made me remember why surfing's so special in the first place. For me, it was a surf photography session I was going to go out and shoot, but I think the same principles apply to surfing too. So just to give you a bit of background about how we ended up to that point, I'd turned up, crack of dawn, quick check from the top of the cliff, quickly change into the wetsuit, get the camera ready and stuff, and down to the beach. Noticed on the way down that the rip was really strong. This tallied with what I knew about the tides being big. The surf itself wasn't overly big, but it was a swell made from a storm, so there was a lot of water and a lot of energy around, but I could see guys just being ripped off the peak by the current so quick. I didn't fancy swimming against it. No problem, I'll run up and get my board, it's in the car. It's an easier option and a safer option for me when the rip's strong. Got back to the car and realised I'd left my leash at home. Made the decision then that I'd go down and try and have a swim anyway, even if it was just a quick session. Ran back down, and for people who don't know the break, these run back and forth are pretty big because the cliff you have to get down is ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous, there's worse cliffs, but it's tiring anyway. So I get down, studied the line up a bit more, knowing now the rip was strong, and sort of made my way into the water, as you saw in the footage. Probably no more than 5 minutes after that, I'm 50 to 100 yards down the beach, and on my way back in to come out. The rip was just ridiculous. And like I say, with no boards to make any decent headway against it or as safety, I just decided that it wasn't wise for me to attempt it, and I probably wasn't going to produce any good photos anyway. So I decided to make the most of it, do some land stuff. Maybe 30-40 minutes later, after getting changed and everything, head back down to the beach with my gear. In that short space of time, the spring tides that we had already meant that the lineup had shifted a lot. The waves were still pretty good, maybe dropped a touch, the swell was dropping pretty quickly, but more than anything I could see the rip was virtually gone, or at least manageable. But at this point, after doing that many trips back and forward, I just took my loss basically, decided to shoot from land. So why does this say anything about why surfing or surf photography is so special? In the sort of hour or so that I shot for, I was thinking about this a lot, and it made me realise how much has to go into surfing to get those moments that we remember, the good wave you catch, whether it's a barrel or a turn, or even just a long ride on a fat point break, your first ride, and all the like little memories we get, the good things that happen in a session. You don't realise how many individual things have to come together to make that happen. And my series of screw-ups that led to me not being able to be in the water kind of made me realise that. I'd done the big one, I'd checked the box of following the charts, following the wind, and got there when the surf was good. But you probably don't necessarily think about the things that follow that. Things like the technical ability to surf, then choose the right peak, then choose the right wave. And then there's like non-technical things as well, like remembering your equipment, choosing the right equipment. In the case of surfing or photography, like if you choose the wrong board, that can be the difference between getting the wave of your life and not getting into the wave, or not having the speed on the wave. So it's just this like so many factors that have to come together to make those perfect waves. And it kind of made me realise how it's no wonder that surfing gives you such a buzz. It's not just that time spent in that short little barrel that counts, it's all those many hours, years learning to surf, forecasting, getting there, getting in the right place at the right time, which have culminated to be able to give you that feeling. That is so rewarding, really. You've earned that. And the same applies to surf photography. I love getting home and looking at the pictures, and it's not the same as the surfing physical buzz, but there is a buzz to getting a sick photo. And I put it down to similar factors here. All the work that goes into knowing how your camera works and setting it up and it all coming together is so rewarding and so fulfilling. I just kind of wanted to share that because it's one of those things that you don't necessarily, or I don't necessarily think about, maybe take for granted. So hopefully in mentioning it, when you have a bit of a disaster like I had today, I think it's through things like that that we learn to make sure things like that don't happen again in the future. So try and take the positive from it, and also recognise when you have those good moments. Don't just remember the barrel, remember that is a consequence of all the work you've put in over the years, and I think you can maybe take even more away from it and feel even more rewarded and fulfilled for it. Anyway guys, I did get some footage from the day. I'll let that roll in a second. There's a link in the description too to the photos that I got from the session. If there's something you have which makes surfing special to you, which is different to this, I'd love to hear it below, because this certainly isn't the only thing. There's so many things which make surfing so special. So let us know in the comments what it is for you. Here's the footage from the rest of the day. If you like it, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye. So that was originally where this video ended, but before I had a chance to finish the edit, I had another session, and it kind of went full circle on those points I talked about at the start. You see, in contrast to the disaster that I described previously, everything seemed to go right. The surf was good, the conditions were good in terms of the weather, the sunrise time I'd got right, even though it was a break I don't go to as often. So I was on the beach at the right time in the right place, and I got absolutely heaps and heaps of photos, which I'm really happy with. Loads of things aligned and came together for me to get what I wanted. No more so than on one particular photo. You see, I've always had a bit of an obsession with when the sun crests over the ocean, and you can see it, whether the sunset or sunrise, and it's just coming over. I think it looks really nice, and it was one of those mornings. And then to top it off, just the second the sun was coming over, a surfer was just getting in the sea. So I managed to get a shot of him in front of the sun, as it almost looks like a halo on his head. And have a look. And it's one of those where so many things had to align for it to come right, in terms of me being in the right location, sunrise at the right time, sunrise visible in the right way, surf being good for the guy to be there, me getting the camera settings right. Apologies for the birds being loud. Very loud. Anyway, so really just to say, appreciate those times when things do work out and go in your favour. Recognise all those things that align and appreciate it. Appreciate the work you've put in to get there, and the way nature is aligned to give you that opportunity. And remember, those times that things don't align aren't just unfortunate, they're necessary to get to the point where things align. You can't have things align and happen as you want and desire and dream for every time. You have to go through the difficult challenges and failures to get there. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.